Nuggets free agency rumors escalating. Are we favorites for this guard? Plus, updates on stars exiting Denver. Let's get into all that and more today on Nuggets Digest. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Stuart Hicar, basketball fan, Colorado native, and also just the most trustworthy man in all of amateur sports entertainment. That's a fact. Before we get into some basketball analysis here today, there is something I do need to bring to your attention. Did you know that only about 10% of you are actually subscribed to this channel, which means almost 90% of you are missing out on the best gosh darn basketball analysis this side of the continental divide. So if you like what we do here at Nuggets Digest, hit that subscribe and like button to stay up to date with your favorite mile-high teams. Okay, what are we talking about today? Well, let's go down the list. We've got updates on a whole lot of things, as well as some very exciting free agency news that could be an interesting new piece we're adding to the bench here in Denver. We'll take a look at that. But first up, we got to talk Jokic. And boy, this is just updates going forward. You know, Jokic is still unsigned for this next section of his contract. Just an update for those of you who don't know what's going on. Essentially, Jokic has a player option extension of 3 years for about $212 million. Now, he's expected to sign this. He's a very no-drama kind of player, so it's not the kind of thing that I would imagine he wants to drag out all that much. However, he would technically have the option to turn that down and enter free agency, where he would most likely be re-signed by the Denver Nuggets for a larger amount on a 5-year contract, tying him up until about 2032, I believe, something like that. This is kind of one of those weird, scary waiting times. Obviously, everyone in Denver loves Nikola Jokic. He is our star. He's our GOAT. He's our Serbian horse god. But he really has an opportunity right now to essentially put some pressure on the ownership of the team to make them draft some players. We have, for a while now, a couple of years arguably, been a team that hasn't made a lot of moves. We've sort of just been trying to run it back consistently since the championship years, even though we've lost a lot of talent. And if you're Jokic, the guy who's sort of carrying this squad, it's understandable that you could become a little angry about this, that they haven't made moves, that they haven't spent some money to go all out to attract talent to the team that could possibly not just help out Jokic, but get them to another championship. I think if you're a fan, you understand this, but if you're Jokic, you do have power right now to essentially sway ownership to maybe make those moves. Is that what he's doing, holding out on this contract extension? Maybe. We'll see. Obviously, the summer's still got a few more months left in it, and he has a little bit of time left to sign that 3-year extension or to enter into a larger contract. But again, I don't think there's anyone out there who has any feeling that Jokic is going to leave Denver. It's just a question of whether or not he's going to try and milk them for money and a little bit of sway over who they're going to be drafting in the future. We'll see. I trust Jokic quite a bit, especially after the Westbrook pickup last year. He was a very vocal voice in us acquiring Russell Westbrook in free agency, who I was fully against because, you know, I watched him play on the Clippers and Lakers and a few other teams, and it seemed like he was kind of cooked as a player. However, obviously they were asking him to do things he wasn't that good at, and Jokic saw that somehow, and he saw that his game could really be complementary to Westbrook's and vice versa. So bring him on the team. Obviously, Westbrook had a big jump last year in terms of statistics and usage, and he had a good impact, I think, on our bench as sort of a bench general point guard. I really respected that, and I got to respect that hopefully Jokic has maybe some other ideas about who would work well with his game, who's out there right now. We'll see, obviously. But moving on from that, there is also some exciting news about free agency and possibly a pickup that the Denver Nuggets are in a good position to score. And that has to do with this little article headline here. Nuggets named among favorites to land Heat's $96 million guard in off-season trade. Now, $96 million guard, you're thinking, I don't think the Nuggets need to be signing that. But that's the good news. We're talking about who? Terry Rozier, Scary Terry. We all remember his time in Boston when he was like a knockdown three-point shooter that couldn't be stopped for some of those playoff runs. Weird time. Strange time. Hasn't been that scary, Terry, in a little while, though. And that's part of the reason that the Nuggets are in consideration to pick him up and have such good odds to do so, is that he had a really rough season last year, just in terms of statistics. Really was not hitting his shots. His three-pointer didn't look all that great. But the question is that another Russell Westbrook situation where the team is maybe not using him to his best potential, and now the Nuggets could pick him off that cold year at a lower price and maybe get some production from him off the bench? Well, possibly. It's definitely not impossible. Taking a look at the odds for where Terry Rozier could end up, the Clippers are at the top of that list with plus 325. However, the Nuggets are just below at 350. So, and then below that, of course, you see some international teams, the Big Three League, G League, and then some other teams as well. But generally, it does seem like if he's not going to be going to the Clippers or the Nuggets, there's a very good chance he's going to sign a larger contract over in Europe for the remainder of his career, which, sure, it's up to him, obviously, but I do think maybe there's a chance for him to really do some heavy lifting and some good off our bench. Now, obviously, how many guards do we need on our bench if Westbrook is also re-signing or Strother is going to be out there? We'll see. It really, all of these decisions are going to come down to whether or not or what our GM's feelings are on the team makeup. Obviously, if you're a Nuggets fan, we've been waiting for some time to figure out who our next GM is going to be. And while there were a few firings of a few assistants to the former GM just last week, we don't have any updates on who the next general manager of the team actually will be. And so many of these moves, as well as the upcoming draft, really depend on what that general manager's opinions are moving forward. So we're sort of in this standstill as a Denver Nuggets fan base. And man, I would love to see the ownership hire someone from that position so we can take a point of view and move that direction for the coming years. And I just like to know that there's a plan in place. And looking at Terry Rozier's stats from last year, I mean, it's obvious that this guy is not who he used to be. Now, what I will say, I do think that the Heat was not probably giving him the best opportunities to succeed last year. They're sort of a broken team with Jimmy gone, and I think they're sort of looking to probably blow things up. They definitely have no interest in re-signing him, especially considering that last contract was so pricey and they got so little out of him. So Terry Rozier will be available in this offseason. Will the Nuggets make him an offer that's low enough that we can still pick up some other bench depth, but that he will accept? Again, playing with Jokic means your floor is going to be raised and there's a chance for a championship, so nothing is off the table at this point. Moving forward from that, and I mentioned him earlier, there is one other person we still need to talk about, and that's this guy right here, Russell Westbrook. Still has not signed either a one-year extension as a player moving forward for, I think, $3.6 million, something like that, very small amount. He has two options right now. Either Westbrook can re-sign for another year on the same contract, which I think is probably his best option if he wants to win a championship. The Nuggets are probably his best outlook for that, his best prospect. But obviously, there have been also some rumors that Westbrook has gotten some offers from, I believe, Tel Aviv's international team that could be really, really high numbers. Again, you got to remember Russell Westbrook, a huge player for the international scene. There are a lot of international markets that really, really like him and would pay to see him play in a Euro League. So no surprise that he would get some offers on that. The big question is, a lot like Terry Rozier, actually, do these guys want to try and chase a ring with a team and taking a small price cut on what they're worth? Or will Terry Rozier take a big pay grade bump over in the EuroLeague? Will Westbrook do the same? Will Westbrook just cancel the 1 year extension, go on the free agency market, and try and get a better contract based on this great season he had last year with the Nuggets? These are really the open questions, and until a lot of these are solved, the Nuggets are in a holding pattern, and I don't think it's a good place to be, especially going into the draft in just a few days. You got to remember that the way we draft this year could effectively change the last few years of Jokic's prime. He's getting up there. He's in his early 30s now. Don't get me wrong. He's still going to be great for a few more years, but these last few years with Jokic need to be about maximizing our potential to get him very good players to play alongside and maximizing his potential to lead us to another championship. As of right now, we can't really be sure what is going to be happening because we don't have a general manager. We have Josh Kroenke as a president who seems to be making most of the decisions right now, which, okay, but tell us the plan. Tell us what you're thinking. What are we going to be doing in the draft? Are we even going to be trying to draft in the first round? Are we going to be talking about, trading our pick around to maybe move some talent around on the back end? Who knows? That's the problem without having a general manager. Everything is up in the air like a beautiful arcing three-point shot. And poetry like that is the reason I'm one of the best and most trustworthy amateur men in sports entertainment. You know what I mean. With all that said, what do you think of my takes? Do you agree with them, or do you think I should be sent to a haunted summer camp so scary Terry Rozier can hunt me and the other campers down over one spooky night in October? Either way, that's fine. Just jump into the comments below, leave your opinions, hit that like and subscribe button, and join the Nuggets Digest community. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Stuart Hicar. This has been another perfect video, and until next time, go Nuggets.